Manito, oche amane pe matsoen, hey ya, hey ya, ho, kinanas kumti na nochi oh,
Hey, there we go. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How's it going? Welcome to Seven Stars Media. For those of you that have been here before, y'all know what we're about. If you haven't been here before, man, thank you guys for joining us for the first time, man. We got a brand new podcast that we just got started, man. It is called Thinking Outside the Fox with my cousin, my man, my brother, Shalen Fox, man. So I'm going to let him get to it, introduce himself a little bit, and tell you guys a little bit about himself. So.
Thank you, Ray. Shalen Fox, Nitigasan, Ochinia, Nagi, Wachik. My name is Shalen Fox. I'm from Sweetgrass. First of all, I just want to thank Ray and Foxing Around with River, the 7 Stars, for asking me to be a part of this. It's very, very exciting. I've been a part of the podcast journeys, watching them through different hosts. So now had a chance to come out and share my story, and I've always told this to Ray. Whenever you ask me, I will never say no. And so whenever we go play soccer, wherever it is, he says, let's go to BC. All of a sudden I'm going to BC. So no, it's always a journey. I enjoy talking. I enjoy sharing my story at times when I have to, and now this just gives me another opportunity to. So, yeah, we'll just get a little bit started about myself. I grew up in the Battlefords. Went to high school here. Graduated, went to university, got my B.Ed, which is an education degree. Went and taught in Sturgeon Lake for 3 years of phys ed. That was my dream. My dream job was coaching or having a phys ed teacher. I just love sports. Had a chance to come home to the Battlefords, back at John Paul II. I've been there for 7 years, and that to me now is my dream job now. Working with our Indigenous students, also working with reconciliation for our non-Indigenous students. Just recently completed my master's. So that's in the ed foundations, and that's the easy part. That's the part that we all share, is what we want the good stuff to be shared. But now I get to tell you what the real side of it. It's like me posting on my social media all the things that I want you to be proud of me for, all the good stuff. But sometimes I forget to share my struggles and my obstacles, and it's getting a lot easier to share that, just with my journey. So I'll just go into that. I was born from a teenage mother. My mom was pregnant at 16. Born when she was 17. I'm born in 1983, so I'm 37, and my brother was born in 86. My other sister is born in 87. So my mom had 3 kids by the time she was 21. Did not finish high school yet. So you can imagine the struggles today, like having 3 toddlers trying to finish school, trying to provide for them, basically being a single mother. My dad was in and out of our lives, struggling with addictions. So those were obstacles that we had to overcome in life. My mom was an alcoholic. My dad still struggles with alcoholism. I'm currently, and we were born into poverty, right? So it's, I had lots of factors that could potentially lead me to addiction, and I had a higher chance to get to addiction. And the cards that were dealt to me, I played them wrong, and I fell into that addiction life. My mom, one story I remember of my mom when I was younger, this is before she quit drinking, and I don't know how old I was. I was a little kid, chasing her. She was going out partying with her friends. It was mid-afternoon, morning or something, and there's a big tree, and I'm chasing her around, and she's going this way. Her friends are trying to hide her, and I'm trying to go back the other way. I'm screaming, and I remember that and I tell that story to my mom, right? So that's what I remember about her addictions, was the drinking. And she's not proud of it, but she's been 28 years sober now on January 1st. 28 years sober, and I'm 37 years old. So, she struggled with addictions until I was 9, 10 years old. So then that journey for her to be a better mother, a better person, just better overall. But it came with struggles. I remember her working 2 jobs all the time, trying to provide for her kids. I remember living in a 2-bedroom apartment with my auntie Galen, who was also sober. So my auntie had one of the bedrooms, and then my mom, myself, my brother, and my sister, we had the other room. My mom had the bed. Me, my brother, and my sister's bed was on the floor with blankets in the closet. That was our bed. I don't remember getting a mattress until I was maybe 12, 13 years old. Like, it was normal for me to be sleeping on the floor. So it's not even anything different. Once we got a bed, I was like, yeah, this is the life, grew up on soup. Oh man, soup is such an easy meal to make, and make lots of it. Grew up on soup. Oh man, I remember I was tired of soup. Tired of eating soup. Once my mom started getting into better jobs, she bought Hamburger Helper. Holy man, did I fall in love with Hamburger Helper. I still love it to this day. The 3 macaroni one is something that I just crave, and I did not eat soup for the longest time just because of those stories I remember of being poor. So I'm grateful that my mom started that journey. My auntie Galen started that journey for us to see what it is to struggle and triumph. And that was part of it. Just growing up, and I played sports. I excelled at sports. I fell in love with sports, and I excelled at them. I'm very athletic until I used to be. So, but I love the sports, basketball, soccer, hockey, volleyball, badminton, track and field, whatever was playing, whatever someone was doing, I was right in there. Baseball, and that was my outlet, man. That's what I wanted to do. Once I was on a court or a field or somewhere on a sports, nothing else in the world mattered. And I'm sure a lot of us have those same outlets. And then, I played in high school. I was fortunate enough to be on lots of good athletes, make some provincial teams. I was fortunate enough to go practice with the Huskies right out of high school with soccer. But I made the decision not to continue after about a month and a half, just because I was just practicing, and then I fell in love with partying. I didn't drink as much as in high school, but I did drink like a regular teenager. And then once I got to university, I just became bar age, social life, and my first drink was, I just finished grade 7 going into grade 8. So I'd been 12 or 13 years old. That was the first time I drank. One of my buddies stole a Mickey Weisers from his parents' liquor cabinet, and we were drinking by the track. That was the first time I experienced alcohol. straight to liquor. Didn't even go to the booze, man. Went straight to the liquor. Harsh stuff, straight, right? Thinking you watch on movies, and I still wonder this on movies. People drink, they pour a big shot of whiskey and they just drink it straight. I'm like, man, how do they do it? You know? And then once I got to university, man, that's where my life really took a swing. Going into the bars. I was 19 years old. I never went into the bars when I was 17 or 18. I didn't have a fake ID. I wasn't big into that, right? But then I went into the bars, and man, girls in there, women dancing around, drinking all over you, got that liquid courage. Consider myself a decent looking guy, and had that liquid courage, and had no problem talking to girls, picking up girls. It wasn't, I was just trying to be loved because I thought that's what normal is. You know, you think the more girls you have, the more love you're going to feel. It's the opposite it was good and it was fun at times. Like, sure, I was doing this and that, but deep down inside, you know better. Like, you're hurting innocent women. Being a player, like, man, it's an ugly feeling. Then you just drink it away again because you don't want to feel like that anymore. Yeah. So I was in university. Not an academic person, but I was enough to get in. And then I still remember when I first experimented with drugs. I wasn't much of a weed smoker. Wasn't much of a regular smoker. I don't know how to inhale, I think, so I never got into that, man. I got into the cocaine. That was my drug of choice. Once I took it the very first time, I fell in love with it, and it fell in love with me. That was in 2004. Yeah, 2004. Yeah, April of 2004. That's when I first dabbled into drugs, and just a different feeling. You're never going to experience that first high. That first high gets you high, and anything else after that, you're just chasing it. You're honestly chasing it. It's the first feeling. So I was into that. Me and my buddies would dabble into it. Didn't start out as the tolerance was low. You know, there's 5 of us sharing some drugs, and every month kind of thing, once a month, going to every second weekend, paydays, and it just got worse, right? Yeah, like, in the media and adults and advertisements do a great job of selling alcohol as being fun and being enjoyable. You know, you have this courage to go talk to that beautiful woman. You have this courage to pick up your friends. You have that courage to forget kind of pain. It makes you forget everything. What they don't tell you is the hangovers. I hate that ugly feeling. You know, I hate the shakes. I was bad for the shakes. I forget they're called are they called DTs, Ray? I think they're called like the DTs, eh?
Yeah, DTs.
Yeah, man. Oh, I was bad for those. I was so unhealthy. Every chance I had to drink and use drugs, I took it. You know, when I felt a little bit of anger, I'd go drink. When I felt a little bit of sadness, I would go drink. When I felt happy, I would go and drink. You know, and when I always found excuses, it's a wedding, you know, I got to go celebrate. One of my bros is in town. Got to go celebrate with him. That doesn't matter who I hurt. Doesn't matter if I have any money. Didn't need money to drink and do drugs. The ones I remember, 2 of the worst ones, man, is when you lost someone to a funeral and you're in pain, and you're like, I'm gonna honor them. This one's for you. I still remember that, and I was so unhealthy. I was honestly unhealthy, hiding behind that bottle, hiding behind that drugs, and it just got worse. The more pain I suffered, the more toxic I was, the more abusive I was. I hated myself, Then you get into depression. You get into a state of mind where you're just tired of it. You're disgusted with yourself. You don't want to look in the mirror. And I know I felt that numerous times, and the worst part is, man, is, one of my so-called bros and my friends, they're right in there with me, or I'm getting them in there with me, and they never once told me, sober up, Shalen. They never once told me you're going overboard, man. The only one I remember is my mom and my Auntie Galen. I remember getting in shit from my mom a couple times. I'm an adult and I'm like, what the F, man? I'm 24 years old. Just get off my back. Just run away and avoid her for 2-3 weeks because I wouldn't face the fear. It was, it's tough. I didn't want to deal with anything. I still work on my communication. I suck at communicating. Hey, I think people can read my minds. That's what I learned. Why can't people just read what I mind? And I didn't have, social media wasn't big at the time. It wasn't big. So learning that Facebook stuff, when you're putting it on there and it's like, you're crying for help, but you don't want the help. Yeah. So, that's tough to face. I honestly struggled with it for years. I dabbled into drugs. What did I say? 2004. I quit in 2016. So 14 years of abusing my body, abusing my mind, abusing my spirit. Man, it was, when I think back of it, it's like all that money I spent. Oh, gambling too, man. I was a gambler. And it was a journey. Honestly, a journey, man. I think back of it and I have the stories with my buddies, man. I was just chatting with Ray before this too, talking about stories, and I had fun. I had fun times playing soccer and going out celebrating after you win. I was on a pretty good team. I was on the Young Guns, man. Legendary team. Stories in there. I remember a couple months ago, me and my bro Tiffer, he's on that journey of sobriety too. We're talking about an old car, a Cutlass of my bro Cyril. The doors did not work. The windows we had to roll down and we had to jump in, and that's how 7 of us will go to soccer. I used to call it the richest, poorest team. We'd win tournaments all the time, and we're broke. Never had money for entry fee. Never had money to get in on Sunday. Borrowing, asking. I'm 25 years old, asking someone to pay me $5 to get in. How the hell could I not afford $5 to get into a soccer tournament? And then playing hungry. It's quite the journey. So you played extra hard because you knew you were going to get you were going to get $80. $80 when we ended up winning. We'd split it. We'd get $80 a piece. Pay back that $20 whoever I borrowed it from. So I'm down to 60. Chip in for booze, down to $20. And then I don't know, probably throw a 20 in the slot machine. So I'm broke within 30 minutes, and I'm a student at the time. So, it was crazy. It was crazy. It was some fun times. One of the stories, this is the one Basil got me. These are the fun times. We had just won a tournament and we had a trophy, and people were pouring drinks in there and drinking from it. Hey, and there was these girls that were there too, and they're like, Shayla, get in there. And then so I was like, nah, I don't want to drink that, man. Basil started to chant, Shalen, Shalen, Shalen. So, of course, the girls started getting there, and then you want to impress the girls. It's like, heck yeah, man. So people poured it in that trophy. So I'm drinking it, and I didn't change out of my soccer shorts yet still. So there I am standing there. Basil runs up behind me, pulls my shorts down right in front of all these girls. So I just finished drinking it. Then I put the trophy down, pull my shorts up. Like those are those funny stories that I have. It's always fun when I can remember moments of those where I'm not as embarrassed. Yes, they're embarrassing moments, but it was a laughable moment that always sticks with me. So it was great, man. But yeah, that ugly feeling the next day. I was fortunate enough to not have my daughter until I was 24 years old, and I still thought I was young. 24 is I don't think you should be having kids at 24, and everybody has different circumstances, but I wasn't ready to have a kid. Me and my daughter's mom were off and on. I was in that toxic relationship. I treated her bad. I cheated on her. Anytime she called, she would call me on my BS. I just leave. Anytime my bros came down, I was going with them. Anytime she wanted me to stay back and stay home, I was like, I'm out of here. Every little opportunity, it was gone. So doing that sucked. It sucked because I know better, right? I know better. I was raised better. All of us are raised better. It's just our choices that we make sometimes come back and haunt us, where we know we're doing wrong. But how can I do right? I don't know how to do right because I don't know how to ask for help. So what do? I go to the bottle. I go to drugs. Anytime my daughter needed something when she was young, I just drank it up because I was like, it's cutting into my habit. I was addicted to drugs at the time. So it was tough. Hung out with some friends, my bros, and they're still my good friends today, and when to me, I train my mind to think when we're going to pick up drugs, big quantities, and buddies were selling them, and I was like, I'm just helping my buddy. I'm giving him a ride. I'm just dropping off. Like I just trained my mind, and it's like deep down, Shalen, I'm guilty by association. If something went down, man, I'm going into the trafficking. Even though I'm just like I'm a mule, and I'm a drug dealer. Like there's no other way to say it. Let's be honest, Shalen. You were a drug dealer. Yeah. Let's be honest, Shalen. You were a mule. They did not care about me. They did. And they wouldn't pay me with money. They paid me with drugs. That's the honest truth. And I thought, these are my bros, man. Yeah, these are my bros. And even the drug like the drug dealer, I go hang around with them, drive them around. I'm just driving them around, but really they're making their sales. If the cops pulled us over, what would they say? I'm just giving them a ride, and here's all these drugs on them, but that's on him, man. Nothing to do with me. But what would the honest truth be? It'd be cuffing me. I'm so unhealthy and so toxic that I believed my own lies. Believed them, man. I believed them. And then then I'm doing so much. I have so much pain, so much womanizing, so much hurt that I'm just going more and more into the bottle. I'm going more and more into those drugs, man, and my tolerance went up. Dark phase. You know, I do so much drugs that I just paranoid myself, crazy. I'd see shadows, and I'd think people are after me. I'd be peeking through peepholes, watching the lights under the doors, thinking for shadows. Have all my lights off. I do all my drugs, thinking, okay, I'm gonna just get it done and get out of the way. But then I'm back, phoning again. I'm not doing anything less. I'm doing more, you know. And those drug dealers knew who I was. Like, I was an addict. I did not believe it. I was just a recreational user, you know. And it's very slim that your drug dealers are actually your bros. You know, I don't hang around with them when I was sober. They didn't come watch a hockey game with me. You know, I didn't bring them to my daughter's soccer game. Like, they're not my bros, man. Yeah, it's very slim. It's very slim that they're your actual bros, you know? And if I didn't have any money, you know, then I'd do that pity story. Mom, I'm broke. Can you lend me some money? I got to get some groceries, you know? And being like, I shouldn't be broke, but yet I'm borrowing money off her because I spent all my money on my addiction. Now I have to have some food in my system, where I'd go visit people just to eat, you know, and then phoning my Auntie Gail, and then, you know, and I loved them, but they enabled me. And it's probably because they didn't want me to suffer, and they probably didn't want me to hurt. So it's tough. Like, I know they loved me and they prayed for me, but they couldn't stop me. My daughter couldn't have stopped me. No one could have stopped what I was doing. It's tough, you know. And then they always say you hit your rock bottom, but I didn't have anything specific that said I'm done. It was just accumulated of stuff that went on in my life, you know, arrested, drugs every day, in that paranoid phase, messing up my daughter's life, you know, womanizing, toxic, unhealthy. I was just tired of it, you know. So that was the reality I had to face. Those of you that struggle with addictions, and if you're like me, you've probably quit 1,000 times in your life. I'm not gonna do it. Then I get paid, and what am I doing? I'm right back at it. You know, I'd be coaching. I'd be gone coaching. I always coach sports. I'd be gone coaching basketball or soccer on a Friday, Saturday night. So I didn't get to go out. But Sunday, what do? I reward myself. I stayed in Friday. I stayed in Saturday. I get to go out Sunday. You know, I always found that little excuse again to get that addiction. You know, so it was tough. But I did not see the people sober in my life. I did not see my mom and my Auntie Gail and then a couple other buddies that started their journey. Because I was surrounded by addictions. You know, so it was tough. Now I want to talk about how I sobered up and how I quit. I went to addictions counselor once, said, you know, I'm going to try this addiction counselor. I want to quit. Went to a couple sessions and it wasn't really working. This was early 2016, maybe February, March. And finally in May 2016, I had booked an appointment early May. It was May long weekend. Raid was World Cup soccer. I wasn't playing. I had long hair, bright yellow shirt. We played a Thursday night game. I wasn't playing because my knees were hurting. That was the biggest I've ever been. I was 240 pounds, and so my body was starting to take a toll from all that weight, 240 pounds. And I remember me and Ray and Delbert, I went up with them on a Thursday night, our game, and I said, I got to work tomorrow too. And my appointment was for the following weekend after that, or the following week. I was like, I went on a bender. I called in sick Friday. I remember I was going to go back with Ray and Delbert back to Saskatoon to go to World Cup. And I ended up staying up till like 10, 11 in the morning. And finally I slept. And you guys went back. I ended up finding a ride back because I was coaching there too. And I still drank all that week, and I was just feeling like crap. And then this is where it honestly changed. I had an addictions meeting in the morning, maybe around 11, and I walked back to that addictions worker, and I said, I need to go to rehab. I'm done. Let's fill out what I need to do. I got to get going. And she said, okay, let's find out where. And she was asking me where I wanted to go, anywhere in Saskatchewan. And I said, she named off a couple places. The first one was Saskatoon. And I said, no, I don't want to go to Saskatoon because I'm so used to partying there that it's just going to trigger me. So I cut that one out of the table right away. She asked if I wanted to go to ones on the reserves, and I said whatever I can get into first. I didn't know how the process worked. I just signed the papers. I don't know if she told me that day or later couple days, but I ended up getting into Thorpe Recovery in Blackfoot, Alberta, just outside of Lloydminster. And I went for 45 days. And I remember trying to talk myself out of it every single time, but I signed those papers. I remember talking to that counselor that even that time I was like, you know what? No, I don't know if I can do this. And she's like, why? And I said, I keep my daughters during the holidays. I keep my daughter during school holidays, summer holidays. I don't want to give up a summer with her when really my mom was watching her, and really I was out drinking all the time. So it wasn't like, am I really being a father? Yeah, so and I was like, and she's like, think of it this way, Shalen. She said, you're giving up one summer for the rest of the summers that you're going to be spending with her. My daughter was 9 at the time, and and she talked me into it. Signed the papers. I was ready to go, and I didn't know how this would work. And I did not get in until July 5th. That's when my acceptance was to get into Thorpe. So there I was, end of May, and I had to go till July 6th. And I was like, what the heck am I going to do now, man? Yeah. So I went back to work, and all of a sudden I got a phone call from the principal at the time. He's retired now. And he said, Shalen, we have a meeting at the board office. Instantly, my guard went up, because anytime at our school I have a meeting or anything important, I get an email. I have a email. I don't just get a phone call and said, we're going here. So I knew something was up. And he said, I'll drive. We'll go in my vehicle. So I asked him on the way, what is it? He said, that's nothing. It'll just be short. So there I am going to the board office, and our director is in there, the superintendent, another superintendent, and the principal. So for all males, all with the school division, Basically, an intervention was set up. They surprised me with an intervention. That's the nice way to say it. The first thing they said, Shalen, we've heard about your social life and what it's doing. And then I said, to be honest, this is my time to come clean. This is where I was starting to, for those of you that are familiar with the steps, this is where you surrender yourself. And I didn't even know that at the time. And I was like, this is my time to grow some kahunas and start to be a man at the time. And I said, you know what? I said, I honestly just came from addictions meeting this morning. I'm going to rehab. I'm going July 5th. I'm ready to go. So I think that just took that tough conversation that they all had ready to go, whatever they thought I was going to reply with. I don't know if they were ready for that part. So that's where that was. At the end of it, what they wanted to do was, I had enough sick days. I had about 6 weeks of school left, and they asked me, Shalen, do you want to take the rest of the time off until you leave? And I said no, because I'm an alcoholic and I'm an addict. You give me six weeks of freedom. What am I going to do? So I told them I'll try stay sober. I'll try it. I did for a couple of weeks. I did for a couple of weeks, and then I started getting that mentality, that unhealthy, toxic stuff. I'm going away. Let's have some fun. Let's go do this. And it was tough. I've been at GP for 7 years, and this is just a random fact. My first time ever getting taxed in my life. So I've never been taxed. I've always had treaty jobs. So I never got taxed. I don't know. I need to figure that out still. But I only got paid once a month. We get paid on the 25th of every month. And while I was drinking for those 4 years, I never had money going into the new month. How did I survive? I don't know. How did I live? I don't know. How did I drink every single day? I don't know. How did I have drugs with me every single day? I don't know. You find a way. I wasn't homeless. I paid off my bills. I was paying my car, paying myself. Maybe I wasn't paying them all off at the same time. My credit was brutal, but don't mess up your credit. Don't mess up your credit. It's the hard way. But yeah, I never had money going to the new month. I don't know how. So yeah, then comes end of the school year, got a couple of days until I'm leaving. I went to a golf tournament in Prince Albert one last weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. My buddy picked me up Saturday morning, July 2nd. And I learned this in treatment. You'll always remember that last time you used and the last time you drank. July 2nd was the last time I used, that Saturday morning. The last time I drank was July 3rd of 2016. I remember specifically, it was a beer coming on the way home, Great Western Pilsner in a green can. I don't even know why I was drinking that, but when you drink anything. And then I'm done. I was just tired. I was defeated. I was ready. Monday, I was ready to go, and I had to pack up. And I enjoyed food. I was going to make changes. That Monday morning, I went to McDonald's, had McDonald's for breakfast. Monday afternoon, I went to Subway, pop and chips. I'm having pop and chips. I probably had a cold cut, double the bologna, double the salami, and big bologna sandwich, a big pop, big chips. That evening, I ordered Pizza Hut, and I had a cheat day. Probably washed it down with Pepsi at the time, bag of chips. I just ate junk food. I was like, I'm going away for 45 days. I don't know what they have in there for food. So that's what I was doing. Then the next day, still trying to talk myself out, but I had arranged a ride. My bro, Troy Bugler, had agreed to drive me. Back in my mind, I was hoping he did not, because then I wouldn't have a ride. But he was there, you know, he was there. He drove me 240 pounds of myself, long hair, pack a suitcase, don't know what to pack. Just pack clothes, supplies, shower stuff, and drop me off in Thorpe. Then it's that lonely feeling. You're opening up those doors and the shit's going down, man. I check in. I'm Shalen Fox. I'm here to go to rehab. So they check me in, they walk me in, and I remember walking down that hallway. You don't know what's on the other side of that wall. And they check your belongings, and just in case you don't have anything in there, you know, and they're checking your clothes. So you got to go take off your clothes, and you hand them to them. They check your pockets and things like that, you know, and that was scary. The hardest part, though, I'll tell you, is I have a 9-year-old daughter at the time. I take her every summer, every holiday. I couldn't even face her. I phoned her. I phoned Shalisa on her mom's cell, and her mom knew I was going away. Tell your 9-year-old daughter that you're going away because you're sick and you can't take her for the summer. That is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. 100%. I still remember that conversation. You know, and I'm tired of it, you know. So I went in, and this is my perception. I thought I was going to be with, I didn't know what I was going to be. I thought I was going to be with like just people off the streets. And I'll tell you, the people that I was in there with were all working people. There's firefighters, nurses, doctors, engineers, all career people, you know. And so I get there for 45 days. They just ease you into it, and they give you your binder. And so people come in at different times. There's not one big group of us going in at the same time. So there's people on day 42, day 35, day 20, day 10, and there's me. I'm starting on day 1. They ease you into it. They give you your binder. It's all structured. It's all structured. 7 a.m., 7 to 8 a.m. maybe is breakfast. 8 to 8:30 is make your bed. 9, you do a check-in. 10, you go to a counseling session or any kind of whatever it was. 11, had a smoke break, lunch, another counseling session. Had some free time for just a little bit. It wasn't much free time. Then more counseling sessions, gym, Kanisha, and then yeah, everything was structured right from 7 to 7. Because without that structure, I would have been back where I was. You know, I needed a routine. I needed structure. My routine did not work. My routine was go to work, sleep for a few hours, out that night again. That was my routine. That did not work. So this routine was there. Yeah, I was in a bed. There's a roommate, I guess. He was at the end of it, and this is where it got real too. He was at the end of it. He was being defiant, I guess. Not defiant. I guess he was being defiant. He wasn't going to classes. He's like, I'm tired of this. You know, he was already, man. He only had like two 2 days left. He's been going on. This is probably for a couple of days, maybe. And they said, okay, well, if you're not going to go into programming, out of here, man. You're done. So I was like, holy smokes, man. Like, they don't mess around here. So yeah, I didn't have a roommate in there. Bed. I barely slept in there. 5, 6, 7 hours. 7 hours was lots. I was up. I started to change my life. I was up in the morning. I'd run 5K every morning. Get in exercises. For 45 days, I was running 5K every morning. It was. I'd even do it twice a day on my exercise time, playing volleyball, going to classes, eating healthy. I didn't eat bread. I didn't eat pop and chips. I didn't have no money in there to buy the junk food stuff too. So yeah. So yeah, it was it's tough. But yeah, no, I was eat healthy. You know, what I said before, I was 240 pounds. When I came out, I was 200 pounds. I lost a pound a day, basically, just from eating healthy, running, living that life that I wanted. Yeah. But rehab, what I'm going to say about rehab, they don't ease you into it. There is no easy thing. They just go in there and you rip off the Band-Aids and rip out your emotions. Everything's there right on the table for you. So you deal with whatever you're dealing with. There's no hiding behind a bottle. There's no hiding behind some drugs. That ugly feeling. I still remember the first time I had that. Yeah. So no, it was painful, but it was good pain. It was good pain. They give you little assignments. It was good pain. You feel happy about yourself and feeling proud. You're writing letters to everybody. You're writing on all sorts of things, doing homework assignments, why you feel like this, how you can overcome it, what are your support systems. So I was in that. I had 2 15-minute phone calls a week, I believe. I only phoned my mom maybe once a week on them, and I would try my Auntie Galen and my Auntie Shauna just to check up on soccer tournaments. I wish I was playing soccer at the time too, but it's about getting better. Yeah, so day 35, I remember this. I was like, I don't know, day 28, because normally it's 28 days. And I remember this. I'd asked myself, I was like, man, if I was day 28, am I ready to go? And I was hesitating, and it was in my mind, in my heart, no, I wouldn't be ready to go. Day 35, day 37, I was like, man, I want to go home now. I'm better. I've come a long way. So day 45, you know, I still remember my Auntie Galen, my mom, and Shalisa picked me up. I remember that. Hugging my daughter. One of the best feelings I ever remember. Yeah. And then my higher power had another plan for me. The plan was, I was scared to get on my phone, first of all. A lady in there had to get something for her, so she turned on her phone and she said, oh, I just got all these messages. And I remember hearing that, and I was like, I don't want to read these messages. What's up? Where are you? What are you doing? You know, and my higher power had another plan. I came back and I was like, I'm going to get ready for FSIN soccer. We're going to Saskatoon in 2 weeks. You got to get in shape, Shalen. You're going to be ready to go. Went to a soccer tournament. Didn't really contact people. Boom. My Achilles ripped. Put me in a cast for 13 weeks. Do you remember that, Ray?
Yeah, bro, I remember. It's crazy.
My higher power said, Shalen, you are not ready to move in this world. I'm going to put you in a cast for 13 weeks. You're going to sit on your mom's couch and still heal. That's what he said. You know, it feels like crap and stuff like that, but my unhealthy stuff was switching. I wasn't mad about that. Yeah, I was in a cast for 2 years in a row. The following year too. That same soccer tournament. Got slid from behind. I broke my leg on the same leg. So I started 2 years, 2016 in a cast, 2017 in a cast. School pictures, school photos holding there, standing behind someone, trying to blend in my cast. Stood in a wedding, never mind too. So yeah. You can still dance though. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was, that's where I knew my mind was starting to shift. I was starting to shift. 2 years in a row, FSI and picks. Yeah. And this is where I've learned this too. I'm very grateful for lots of things in my life. And I don't like to, I like to give gratitude and things like that. And all of those workers, it was about 15 workers in treatment. And I was excited that night coming home. That night I couldn't sleep as usual. So I went on the computer, typed up 15 letters for all the workers, put them in envelopes, and gave them to what they did to my life to change, how they impacted it, because they had a tough job dealing with addictions, so I do that to this day. For those of you that know me, that follow me on social media, I randomly post on someone's wall that is going through something or achieving something, and I just want to share that love, share that success. That's something that I picked up. I've been doing that for years. It's not, I don't do it for anything else. It's just to give someone else that success, that feel good love. Yeah. Now my whole mindset has switched. I live a positive life. I've been sober and clean, 2016. And that's where I'm at today. People ask me how I do this. It's not easy. I still have my days. I still struggle, but I'm at the gym every day. I go exercise every day. I love 6 a.m. workouts at CrossFit. Shout out to NB Strength. And I see some of the people on there. Miss Haley Rose is always at the gym. Krista Gooby puts me through workouts. Aaron, Justin Rask, Christina Bennett. Let's goes on. Dallas, Brianne, Amanda, Mike. Man, I love that gym. Mentally challenges me. I love that gym. I spend 2 hours a day in there if I could. I spend a little more if I could, but that's just my physical piece. One of my things that I learned is from my bestie Vanessa. I know she's out there listening. She challenges me to think every day differently, and I think I challenge her to think differently. What lens am I looking through it? She teaches me about communications. I still struggle at communications. I started journaling with her to help Kayla ahead of Q, and I talk with Ray. I talk with lots of people. I just talk about things that are on my mind, on my chest. What lens am I looking through? And what I mean by that is there's 2 twin brothers. They have an alcoholic father. The one brother says, I drink because that's all I see my dad do. The other brother says, I don't drink because that's all I see my dad do. So which lens are you looking at it out of? That's how I think of it. What lens are you thinking out of it? So that's part of it too. I go in there, and no one knew I went. There wasn't too many people, so I don't have much. When I came out of treatment, there wasn't nobody that asked me to go drinking. I think everybody knew I was in treatment. I've been very fortunate that people have took me seriously in that aspect. If they didn't, then they're not really my friends, right? Once one person tried to trick me by giving me water at a soccer tournament with vodka in there, and I knew he was laughing, and I knew he was on the influence, and I was like, I smelt it right away. So I was like dumb me up, man, and so no. Yeah, so that's part of it. Then I had yeah, that's part of my life, man. I had some stuff written down, but part of what I've learned through teachings and elders and things is, and Eugene Bird had taught me, Big Bird had taught me. I like listening to him speak. He always speaks from the heart, never takes nothing written up. So I love it when he does that. So I think I've learned that. Another reason why I don't write anything down is because when I read something, I stutter. I have a stutter, so I don't like to do that. So anytime any of you that know me, whenever I'm speaking, I never have anything written down. I don't like to stutter. I know how to read. I just get nervous. So I can tell I wasn't nervous today because I barely even stuttered. This is just me telling my story with you guys, sharing my inspiration, sharing my struggles, sharing the truth. And that's what it is. Some of my things that I want to, some of the things, maybe you can just put in the comments, is if you're sober, or it doesn't have to be sober, if you quit an addiction, or anybody in your family or your friends that has quit an addiction, put in the comments so we can share that love. So who has quit an addiction, or do you know anybody that has? Because everybody needs to have that inspiration, so that's one of the things that I wanted to be in there with you, to be in there with you guys. There was if you guys have some questions too, you can put them on there. 6 months today, that's exactly what I love to see. I see, I have so many people that are sober, and it's not just my mom and my auntie, Lenore Kiskatagan, I remember, celebrated 17 years. Adam been sober. Brent Kisco has been sober. Mike Bird, my brother, has been sober. Money Leader has been sober. Vanessa has been sober. Kayla's been sober. Ray's been sober. Don Knight's been sober. There's another person in there, 3 months sober. And this is something that I learned in treatment. This is my own thing. This is what I learned. I don't count the days. I make the days count. So I never really post about how many days I've been sober. There's another one. 1 year yesterday. Look at all that. Look at all these people that are sober. Going on 4 years of no drugs, man. And it's amazing. And I know all of you have quit gambling because there's no more GameX and there's no more casino here. So you guys can put that down just for now. But when they open up, Aaron's sober. 1 year, 25 months, right? So Haley's sober. Harmony, another 27 months sober. Look at that, man. Kelly, Cody, my bro Cody, love playing with that guy. Best soccer player I've ever played with, hands down. 3 years sober. Best volleyball player. Oh, that guy can jump. That's why I never won defensive awards, because of Cody. He could jump too high. So, another question is Lucas, 45 days, man, and he's doing the 25 push-up challenge. So he's making those push-ups look easy now. I'm pretty sure he's a one-handed push-ups now. So I guess my second thing is who is your support? Who is your support systems out there? So if you want to post that in the comments, that would be something good. My support system is at work. I have lots of great coworkers that check up on me daily, that know my story. There's lots of people at the gym that just communicate with me, even just having random conversations. I take that as communications. Vanessa, Mike, Dawn, Lenore, my mom, my auntie. There's lots of I have lots of supports. And I'm truly grateful for every single one of you. If I have forgotten you, you guys know I have very lots of supports. This is something that I struggle with. Ray, if you want to put that past, present, future, this is something that I struggle with. I fix so much things in the past that I'm planning it for the future that I forget to live in the moment. And I had this conversation with Haley yesterday. She was talking about that too. I forget to live in the moment. I forget to acknowledge how much I have grown in these last 4 years. I forget what I can be proud of today. that you got to live in the moment. I can't always better myself because I'm good now. I'm great. And I'm still a long ways from this. So I enjoy that part. So make sure you guys enjoy the moment. Mrs. Fear, Mrs. Fear is the one who, and I'm not mad at her, and I was never mad at her. She was one of my coworkers that had phoned and give the tip about my addiction. So, I'm truly grateful that she took the courage to phone in and have that conversation. Yeah, Krista, such an advocate for missing and murdered Indigenous women. It's great to see out there more and more. Yeah, I guess the last quote, or my last one is, what quotes do you guys live by? One is me. It's count the days, don't count the days, make the days count. That's something that I truly believe in. I balance my medicine wheel. One I always say at work. There's lots I say at work. Help me help you. I can't read your minds. I don't have that ability. I wish I could, but if you tell me what's wrong, I can help you, and you can help me. So we can work at this together. So help me help you is something that I've lived by, and it's always for the kids. It's always for the next generation, because those next generations, they are our leaders today. They're not going to be they don't need to be the leaders later in life. They're our leaders today.
Yeah, I'll give you mine, bro. There are no pacts between lions and men.
Achilles. Yeah. Achilles. So much quotes from Achilles. Are you and Gladiator? Yeah. Is there no one else? I always I love that. The Serenity Prayer. Yes, I love the Serenity Prayer. Something that I live by too is, if you can see it, I have a tattoo here. It's two wolves. It's that old story, and I got this after I was sober. It's the good and the bad wolf in you. Which one are you feeding? So right now, my sober and happy life is winning, but there are the days when I feel down. Oh, Denzel with the good one. If Bannock can rise, so can you. Denzel, you're going to be great in anything that you do in life. I think very highly of you, and you teach me so much about culture that you don't even realize you are teaching me. You're a natural born leader. So you're very inspirational. Your mom is doing a great job raising you. Your cookum is doing a great job raising you. Yeah. So nothing changes. Nothing changes. There's one of my rocks. My auntie. Think of life as a book and not let one chapter be the end of your book. Yeah, our books, they're never going to be ending. The greatest glory in living lies not in never failing, but in rising every time you fall. Yes, Donna is one of the ones at the gym too. I miss those talks. These are all great quotes. So there's 5 things. What is my message across? Keep fit and have fun. Yeah, I always say that. I'm an old Hal Johnson fan. Yeah, that is one of my favorite ones. I guess my 5 things to you guys is what you should do if you're looking into this sobriety, into this addiction. Number 1 is hit your rock bottom and ask for help. Ray, if you want to post that one on there, just at the bottom. Yeah. So whatever your rock bottom is, and ask for help. Be proud to ask for help. There's lots of love out there that are going to support you, but they can't force you to ask for help. So make sure you're asking for help. You have lots of love, lots of support. No one's going to get mad at you. They're actually going to be proud of you. They're going to give you a big hug. You're going to have some tears, and it's going to be an amazing feeling to feel that love from that hug. A hug can change so much difference. Have supports from number 2 is have supports from your family and friends. Find out who your true friends and families are. If they're supporting you, then keep them in your circle. If they're not, push them back a little bit. They can still be your bros where you can shake your hands when you see them. But make sure your circle is as tight as possible and as supportive as possible. Number 3 is you can't heal in the same environment that made you sick. And what I mean by that is, I don't go sit in lounges with my friends who drink when I'm a recovery alcoholic and an addict. So number 3 there. Yeah. You have to You have to change something. You can't go back into that cycle because it did not work for you. I don't have the strength for that. That's just me personally. So make sure you're changing something. If I want to hang out with my friends, we're going to country cuisine. If you want to hang out, I love the country cuisine breakfast. It's $5.95 Monday to Friday before 11 a.m. It's $5.95 Saturday, Sunday before 9 a.m. So if you want to go for breakfast, that's the place to go. But I don't go hang around in the lounges. That's not for me. Number 4, do it for yourself and only for you. You can't do it for anybody else. You can't do it for a partner. You can't do it just for your kids. You can't do it for work. You can't do it any other reason. You need to do it for yourself. So make sure you're doing it for yourself. Number 5, I have more sober friends and family than I think. The list can go on and on and on and on. There's lots of people that are out there that do not drink in my life, and I'm very supportive of them. And it's inspiring to see the amount of people on their journeys, whether they're 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 15 years, 28 years. There's always people out there, and make sure you're around them. You wanna fly with the Eagles? You gotta fly with the Eagles. Oh, Miss Judy Graz. Oh, yeah. Chunks, Mr. MVP himself, Mr. Clutch. Yeah. Asking for strength is not a sign of weakness; it's a strength. Delbert, he inspires me to be a better person in the gym, a better person on the soccer field. Yeah, Alyssa, I got a free breakfast after I pronounced that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Megan is something that I had. I cherish the moments of those conversations. It was close there. Andrew too. I enjoy the conversations we have at gym. Actually, Andrew and Aaron have inspired me to join a book club I've been reading. That's my addictive personality still. Since December 25th, I've read 6 books. So I still have that addictive personality. It's just healthier stuff, right? So when I'm out running, I'm running every single day for all of the summer. I'm reading books. I still have that addictive personality. It's just healthier choices. So that's it. Is there any questions? Anybody have any questions in there? This is the weird part when you don't get to hear anybody.
Yeah, you gotta wait a second and just let them filter in. So
yeah,
they'll be here in a few minutes.
Oh, Masoon, Mr. FN when we brought him down from Red Deer. Yeah, hey, thank you for. It's good. It's we all need that inspiration. Yeah. Yeah, Cody will go for breakfast. Yes, definitely. I love that country cuisine breakfast. So,
hey, that might be a good guest. That might be a good guest to have on for you, bro. Is to bring Cody on and you guys can share stories. I think that
talk about the old war stories, and speaking of Brenda here too, Kina Muskoten. She's been one of my Cree teachers, sharing voice clips with me in the messenger, and I take pride in that, and I learn it. Yeah. So I've been learning trying to learn the Cree language. What was the best? What does a guy go about putting pride aside and finally asking for help? How did you do it, and what was your turning point? You know what? It was just accumulated of things. I was tired of womanizing. I was tired of being in that hate mode. I was tired of being in that depression. I was tired of being in that suicidal phase. I was tired of being in hurting my body, my mind, my spirit. I was tired of hurting my daughter. It was just accumulated of things that was in there. What has been the absolute best thing to happen to you since you becoming sober? One of the best things is I'm able to provide for Shalisa without, when her mom asks me for something, without an argument. If her mom asks me for, she needs help with this, it's just sent. That's one of the things that I take pride in. And I'm proud of. I can able to provide for her whatever she needs. Might as well host a flats at the turn. Yeah, it will be good. Yeah, Morgan Swindler, grew up with him on Windsor there. Yeah, so no, it was good. Yeah, the old me, but yeah, it's hard not to talk about the past, and people like to bring it up and bring the old me. What would you say to others who are trying to better themselves and not be stuck in the past when people remind them of who they are and who they be? At the end of the day, when people keep reminding you who you were, just push them aside. Their opinion of you does not matter. It's what you matter, your supports think of you, and what the new people think of you. Those people that are not supportive and bring up the old you, they haven't met the new you, and they don't want to meet the new you. So then that's your cue to push them aside. My auntie Melissa, I miss you guys and I love you. Yes, my coco. Cadence Benson, that's my another Cree, a teacher at school, grade 11 student. She teaches me Cree. Yeah. Juan, I know Juan's on his healthy journey too, so I love seeing him in the gym. They're living in the past. Yeah, they are living in the past, and you got to live in the present and the future. Yeah, so you got to live in the present and the future. Make sure you have goals. Set those short-term goals that are going to make you into your long-term goals. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of where you came from, and remember the good times and remember the bad times. So I thank you guys for listening to my story. It was great to share it. I've shared it many times with different people one-on-one. I had the opportunity to share it with BATC last year, right around this time at their BATC Carnival, something in there. So Roland Baldhead, yes, I listened to your podcast yesterday. The guy has a long drive. He's just for some reason 5'8" of him can crush it 350 yards, and I need to learn that from Roland. So yeah, so no. And there's Krista Gubi. I learned things from you daily at the gym, but even learning in classes that we've taken in our masters. So it's good. The old you doesn't exist anymore. Exactly. I'm a new and improved person. So it's great. It's great. Yes, Barb lends me books too. Love talking with Barbara at the gym. Yeah. I just wanted to share my story that other people can inspire and other people can relate to it. Because we all have that some form of connection. I know you guys connected to me in some way, shape, or form. So there's Kayla Hennecue. There's my Jill. There's my Bonnie. She's my putter. So thank you guys for that. I will sign off here and looking forward to seeing you guys next week on the next one. I have a couple ideas what I'm going to be doing. It's not always just going to be about addiction recovery. I have different ideas that I think about, different lenses that I want to be able to look through on both sides. So thank you guys very much. Remember, keep fit and have fun. And I'll see you guys at Country Cuisine. Thank you guys very much. Bye.